Buenos días por acá. ¿Cómo están? ¿Cómo les va? So we remember all our teachers and the Buddha with appreciation for all the tools that they left for us to be used. All we are together, pay homage to the Buddha, to the sublime, to the victorious, to the totally self-enlightened one. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagava araham sama sambuddho vichacharana sampano sukato lokavidu anutaro purisa dhamma sarati sattha deva manusanam buddho bhagavati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, so today we will continue with actually no lifespan anymore, but we'll continue with the Kappas, so part 2 of it. And today we will see another 2 terms of Kappas, and very interesting. Better let's go into the content instead of.
You remember that the Kappas are the very long.
Yeah, you can explain.
Yeah, very long spans of time, how to measure the arising and ceasing of a world cycle. And also today we will address the question that Fer made last week about how often does a Buddha arise in a world system, how many times, what are the possibilities, and how long is this darkness era of no non-teaching, no Buddhas, and no morality you will see today. So today we will explore that.
Yes. Okay. So just a little revision of what we have seen last week, because it's going to be connected and useful for the coming information. Last time we have already seen that one Mahakappa. We have seen two terms last time, one Mahakappa and one Asankhya Kappa. Yes. So one Mahakappa in English translation, we could say it is a great world cycle, which we already explored. That is more or less more than 936 quintillion years. And the great world cycle is divided into 4 stages, as we saw last time, which are the first period is the disintegrating period. Then disintegration can be of 3 types. We saw already.
It can happen because of
it can be destroyed because of fire, because of water, or because of wind. Okay. Then after the world system is being destroyed, then it stayed for the same time that it takes for it to destroy it as the destroyed period. So in this time there is just pause. No, there is nothing.
There is like just darkness. We can say
just staying. Then after the same time that it took for it to destroy, it take the same time for it to stay just destroyed it. Then another period will start, and this is the evolving period, and will take the same time as it took for its destruction and for the destroyed period, and will evolve. And then again, after this period of time is finished, then it will come to a continuance period.
Existing, like where we are right now.
Yes, so this is where we are now, and it will also take the same amount of time. So for Asankhya Kappa is equally divided in terms of time period of one Mahakappa.
Maha, as we said before, means great. Like you remember the word in Indian word Maharaja. Raja means king and Maha means great. So anytime we find this word, we want to start looking that is something related to it. Mm-hmm. Now, the Mahakappa we can say is the cosmic year. I don't know if it will be probable. And then it will be a cosmic year, a whole world cycle, a cosmic cycle, and then it will have its 4 seasons as we have it on our normal calendar. spring, summer, and autumn, actually they are the same size. They are 3 months each. So the same will be true for a cosmic world cycle. It will have these periods or seasons of spring, like becoming, and then summer staying, then autumn decaying, and then winter will be no trees. Nothing is really out. So then it comes again and again in cycles in a very, very long time span.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have seen that each of this period is called Asankhya Kappa. In Asankhya, this word basically literally means incalculable, which means very, very long. Actually, there is more or less a number, an estimate number, but it's more or less because it's so long, so many zeros, so just called incalculable.
In terms of human years, because of our revolutions are smaller, like a machine engine of a car. Depending on the revolutions it has, our world has very quick revolutions. Our years are quite small. That's why in comparison to that very long spans of time, it is like very big numbers.
Mm-hmm. So 4 of those Asankhya Kappa, each of these is called one Mahakappa. So we have seen this already. Now today we'll see another 2 terms, which is called Ayu Kappa and another term Antara Kappa. So now we will go into it directly. For Ayu Kappa, it's quite simple. Before, in the last week, we have seen that the present human lifespan is around 75 years, no? But then we have also seen that human can live actually for 10 years to 1,000 and 1,000 of years. So the present lifespan is 75 years. So for us now, Ayu Kappa, one Ayu Kappa is 75 years. So that Ayu Kappa is a term that that refers to the present lifespan of human. So let's say if the human are living for 1,000 years, then the Ayu Kappa will be 1,000 years. So this is just a term that I will just only mention because you will find it in the scriptures and in the readings. So when you see Ayu Kappa, Ayu actually means age. So Ayu Kappa is the lifespan of that time.
Of that kind of being on that period. Mm-hmm. So now, one of the things, the first time I hear humans live thousands of years, 10,000 years or something like that, let's remember and open the scope. We are not just talking about this planet. When the Buddha described the movement of the universe, he was describing the ability of being a manusa, what we are, a human kind of being. But this is not the only planet where life can happen. And maybe according to records in this planet, maybe we have never experienced such long lifespans, but let's open the spectrum. And in the universe, there are possibilities for a kind of human, same as we, same characteristics of mind, 5 khandhas, having a mind and matter interconnecting, and there are possibilities for humans to live very long. It might not be on this planet. So let's just keep that in mind. It's talking about beings, even in not just in different earths, but in different realms, as we can see. Many variants of same humans.
Yes, actually, in terms of time, like so there are times that humans do live very long, and there are times that human lives very short, like we saw last time, depending on the food, on the medical advancement, and if there were war or anything, so lifespan changes, no? So because we are talking about kappas and talking about so long period of time, so it is maybe difficult for us to imagine or to see that how human can live thousands of years. But if we take the vision, we step back and see the vision in such long period of time, then it's not like a human in 100 years, they live 1,000 years or 10,000 years. No, it takes so long time for them to change from the lifespan, become bigger, a little bit bigger, or a little bit shorter, Mm-hmm. So it is very possible, just that because of our vision and because our life is short now, we cannot see that scope. But in terms of just remind ourselves that we are talking about very, very, very long period of time.
And about description of the cosmos, it's not just planet Earth itself. we are part of it, but it's just one chapter in this very big book.
Yes. Okay. So last time, a few of you asked the question of what happened when during the time of the Asankhya Kappa, where the world is still evolving or is being destroyed or is destroying, then there is no human, no? So that so I just wanted to make it clear. I think we answered already last time, but just to make it clear because it is connected to what we are going to see right now.
The question was, if I remember well, like, so if there is a darkness, where does the human stay then? Like, where are they?
Yes, it's like during this period. Now human only exists in this period, no?
Only in one cosmic season, there are possibilities for humans,
yes,
or other kinds of things as well.
Yes. So when we are here, and then when this is going to finish, then it comes to the destruction period. Then during the destruction period, there is basically no humans anymore. And then there are no animals, and then there are, remember last time when we see that if it is being destroyed by fire, it goes until the second realm of the Brahman will be all destroyed now until there. So if it is destroyed by fire. So in this case, what happened is that before the very last few thousands of years, before the world is this world cycle is going to finish, then people will start realizing it's coming to an end, and then they will start to practice according to the scriptures. Then most of them, they will get a lot of kusala, and then they will, after they die, they will move. It's not throughout one lifetime, no, because they start realizing thousands and thousands of years before.
The water is coming. The water is coming. The water is coming.
Yes. So they start practicing during those times, and then until almost the end, then most of them will arrive to the Brahma realm, which fire is, or wind or water is not being affected according to what kind of destruction is going to happen in that time, no? Then some of them who is not be able to do that, most of the people according to the scripture are those who have a very, very serious, strong, wrong view. And so those beings, they are going to remain in hell. But because hell is over,
lower realms, hell. This word,
this word's translation is
lower realm, lower
Hidaya,
realm. Otherwise, big problem.
In the Wufo state, yes, in the lower realm. And since the lower realm is also destroyed in this world cycle, so they will be reborn into another lower realm in another world system.
Yes, remembering that there are many kind of scientifically thinking, maybe dimensions, that there are different layers on this cosmic development.
Imagine that if we see one world system horizontally, then we see that there are the lower realms, then we have human, then we have devas, then we have Brahman. So it's like in a vertical view, like the 31 plane of existence. But at the same time, it also exists a horizontal expansion. So this is a world system, and there is other world system, other world system, other world system, other world system. Mm-hmm. So there are many world systems, then tens of thousands of world systems happening in the same time in different stages. Yes. So in those cases, when this world system, there is no conditions for human, then most of them will be either Brahmin or they will be in lower realm in other world systems. Okay, so now let's see that we have seen that humans lives from 100,000 years of age. It can be lifespan can be from 100,000 years of age, and lowest can be of 10 years of age. So in one sutta, the Buddha explains what happened and why human lifespan decreases. So
safety belts, please, everybody. Here we go.
So now that we just saw that when there is no more beings. Okay, sorry, I will go back one slide. Sorry, one more.
Is it automatic?
No. Yeah. So you see, when it is totally destroyed, then there is no beings and no beings. So most of the beings of this world cycle, they are living in the Brahma realm in this time, no? So when the world is ready, those beings now they are ready to be born as human. So those beings who were Brahmin just a little while ago, when they were born into the let's say first humans of they were not first, but for this new environment, no? So they were just Brahmins in a little while ago. So therefore, their mind are quite pure, because when they practice the jhanas, then the mind there is no 5 hindrances, no. So because they are just there, so their mind are still very calm, and because of that, in the beginning, human does live very, very long time in those times because their mind are quite pure. Then later on, the lifespan start coming a little bit down, a little bit down, a little bit down, and now we are going to see in one sutta where the Buddha described what happened. Why the
lifespan of humans,
shorter.
Talking about humans, we'll focus on us. Why the lifespan of a human either increases or decreases? What is the reason that it comes? And you will see the logic is breathtaking at the moment.
Mm-hmm. So what happened is that those beings, those humans originally, they're quite good, like little Brahmin-like humans. But slowly, because of time, then they start being less generous. They start giving less, but not giving whatever needy to the needies.
Identifying more with themselves, hence identifying more with their things, what it belongs to me. If I am a self, then something belongs to me. And we can see it in children. As soon as they recognize, trouble starts. So then they start attaching, getting into the things, and then generosity starts becoming less. And there is where the problem, even that can change our lifespan, can start making variations on human existence.
Yeah, so according to this sutta, because they start not giving to the needy, then poverty increased. Then because of the increase of poverty, then taking what is not being given increased. Then in those cases, because there are more people taking what is not being given, then people want to protect their own properties and their own thing, so they start using weapons.
Or acquiring weapons yes, so to protect their property.
So when weapons increase, the taking of lives increased.
Now there are guns, now there are killings.
Yeah, so when there are more unwholesome deeds, there's just starting from not being generous, then starting from taking people's properties, then because of weapon, because of taking of life, of killing, then because of that, all those unwholesome deeds, then humans' lifespan become a little bit shorter. Then after that, the children of those generation of people who has shorter lifespan, then they start telling lies. And then said, did you take somebody's property? No, I didn't. And so then lying start increasing. And then the speaking of evil of other increase. No, he did. He took somebody's things. And
I thought he was him or something like this, blaming on one to another.
So this, the speaking of evil of others increased. Then after that, envy increased. then it is said in the sutta that because of all those unwholesome actions, some humans, they were born with better appearance than others, some with less good appearance than others. Then people start getting envy. Why is he better? Why is he more beautiful?
Or and then more.
Envy starts. Then after envy starts, then because of envy, then sexual misconduct increased. Because they envy other people, and then they wanted the other's wife and this and that.
Covetousness, no? It's like the envy starts, I wish to have that, but then later on the action comes into, let's just have it. And then adultery.
Harsh speech and idle chatter also increased. Then with the increase, we're talking about through generations. No? So all these become more serious and more serious, and lifespan becomes shorter and shorter. Then after that, covetousness and hatred increase in beings, and it become worse. And then the next generation and the next generation, then insects, excessive greed and deviant practice, including social behavior or sexual behavior, everything become worse and become worse. Then after that, the lack of respect for mother and father and those who are worthy of respect become very popular. So people don't respect mother and father, don't respect people people who were worthy of respect anymore.
They start not respecting, and then or respecting some other figures that doesn't really provide something meaningful for the well-being of everyone. Does that sound something similar to our experience, my dear family, in some of any of these ways? Let's continue. Later we check.
So because of not being, yes.
Yeah, one second.
Let's finish with these suttas first, and then okay, yes, we come back, Diego. So starting from not being generous, then all this
cascade of akusala actions.
All this akusala continues and continues and continues, and then it does not mean that when they are having lack of respect, they don't have weapons, they don't feel life anymore. It's accumulating, so it's more and more and more. Then a time will come when the children of these people, they will have a lifespan of only 10 years.
Because it started decreasing.
Decreasing. So from the very thousands and thousands of years, then throughout many generations in lifespan, then it becomes decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. And then when the lifespan of those people become only 10 years average lifespan, and then the girls, they will get married in 5 years old, and then they will have babies in 5 years.
The promiscuity also increased. Yes, it is the Buddha in other places have explained.
Yeah, every time the girls, they can have baby
younger and younger. Also their periods each time comes a little bit sooner, and even in our own generation we have seen it already. Now young girls are starting to or boys are starting to show signs of puberty a little bit earlier yes. than what we were used to.
Yes.
And society also, these changes kind of emphasizes them because of fashion, etc., etc.
Then by this time, when the lifespan is only 10 years of age, the 10 course of moral conduct, which we already saw before, previous classes, the 10 types of good action, wholesome action, will completely disappear. Nobody do that good actions anymore. And the 10 course of the unwholesome actions will prevail exceedingly.
Okay. So, my dear family, how do we see some similarities with reality? One of the shocking parts that we were yesterday contemplating is that everything starts with the lack of generosity. As simple as that. The people who starts providing to the ones who have difficult to have, and then we can see that actually what is already happening in our world, the difference between rich and poor becomes greater, and the space between rich and poor becomes greater and greater. The less people that has the most, and the more the people that has the least. With the money that the very rich people earns in a day, it could feed thousands, or I dare to say even possible millions of people. Then there is more poverty in society. Naturally, the tendency for a mother or a father will be to try to take what is not theirs in order to feed their children. Then there is stealing. It is happening already in our Mexican societies. Then people, what do? They get the better fences, better alarm systems, and weapons even, because they wish to protect what consider theirs. Then there is the weapons already, then the killing, etc., etc. It's just a cascade. But it is unbelievable to realize that everything starts with something so noble as practicing generosity to one another. In order for what? To avoid mass poverty and all the moral inflictments, how we say, the moral atrocities that happen because of the lack of basic needs. I mean, we are not giving a justification for the bad behavior, but poverty does increase the tendency for people to take what is not theirs. Later on, the protection and the killing, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know Diego have a question, but can we finish this graphic first, and then we will come to the questions.
How do you, well, then when question comes, we see how do we see this and how it is showing in our society right now. Can we see some kind of this tendency, and what can we do about it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, so it is explained in this way that from very long lifespan, then it will slowly throughout generation, then the lifespan will decrease until it is only 10 years. And in the time when the age is only 10 years, then morality will totally disappear. Even the word morality does not exist anymore. So nobody cares about morality, and
What is that?
Yes, and everything will get so messy that according to the scriptures, then the people will take mother or auntie or sister or cousin or brothers and sisters and father, everything just as husbands and wives. So everything is mixed up, and then it would be like animals. People lives like beasts, like goat and sheep and fools and pigs and dogs and jackals.
Talking about incest and like this, and also in terms of history, many of the human societies and civilizations actually had this kind of downgrading process, naturally, because of the richness, because taking things for granted, and then the morality start losing value. The whole value is put onto property and things, etc., etc. And then we can see in the Roman Empire and in many other tales that we have, actually it has happened in our own world already. Many of the times the decay of many of these societies or great civilizations was because of a lack of self and others' respect. And then it is kind of famous to know about this, how you say, bacchanales, or great parties where everything was permitted. And actually something a little bit scary to see in our own society. For example, last time I was in Europe, the tendency we saw in young people to having, I mean, I'm not on one side onto the other, but it is happening, the tendency for open relationships and things. When you fast forward this, I mean, later on, things that used to be more ethically respect or keep it onto the side, like having a partner and respecting relation, even if they wish to change or something, as long as they close the cycle, it's fine. We can see in our society and even the mass media how it's each time promoting to some way different kinds of sexual behavior and moral principles. So yeah, it's
so it will get worse, and in this time it get worse and worse, and then those people who have no respect for mother and father and respect for those who worthy of respect will be those being honored by that time. Those are the heroes, and during those period of time.
As right now, when we hear a narco corrido, when you hear a song, I mean, actually what is the new heroes are the ones who make what they wish with the drugs and all that, like the, unfortunately, I mean, just turn on the radio on.
Yeah, so after that, during that time, then fears, very serious enmity, hatred, and anger, and thoughts of killing will prevail in those minds of those people, and so they start killing one another, basically. So that's in those times, because of there are actually three versions of this. First one, then this one, they start killing each other, and then this is because then, according to the scriptures, it says that because of excessive hatred. So in this time, because the lobha and dosa and moha, the three roots of unwholesome roots, action. Then in this case, dosa is the most serious, and so they start killing each other. And then if moha is most serious, then in those cases, it will be like there will be a disease that will happen. Then many people will die in those times because of that. And then another version is if greed is most serious, then there will be famine. Will be the cost of more serious cost. Anyway, so in this case, then it is going down and down. And if you want to know more about this information in more details, then you can go to the Digha Nikaya, Sutta number 26, Chakravarti Sutta. Then there you will find all the information that are listed here. And then, okay, now, so
the sutta is called The Lion's Roar, The Turning of the Wheel. Is a translation. Very interesting sutta. Digha Nikaya 26.
Yes. So until this time, then everybody start killing each other. But don't worry. So there are some beings that they thought that, well, this is not okay.
This is very interesting.
When they are 10 years old, not all everybody's lifespan is 10, so they're starting to kill each other. And then there are a little group of beings, and they thought this is not okay, and then what we're doing is not okay. So they they left the community, and then they went to some place. They stayed for some time, and then the mass killing happened, and many people died. And after that period of time, those people, they come out, and then they see that we are still alive. They are those little survivors that didn't join the killing. And then later on, they thought we are still alive because we didn't kill. So so killing is not good. Let's not kill.
Yes.
Let's not kill. So they thought about that, and then because of that, then the lifespan grow a little bit. That their children start to live a little bit more than 10 years. Then the children, then after generation, they thought, oh, this is doing good. It's good.
Doing good.
Let's keep not tell lies. Let's keep another good deeds. So by doing another good deeds, then this lifespan become longer, a little bit longer and longer, and in this way it grows again.
There is less stealing, there is less protection, there is less killing. So just their survival makes those people who are left out to recognize that morality actually is a life changer. It's a lifesaver and a life changer. Then the appreciation for morality starts to increase, and then here we go back again. Yes. The cherishment of life, and the life of oneself, and the cherishment of the life of others, and then morality starts becoming together, and then here we come up. So actually, the whole cycle of having a lifespan, either short or very long, depends directly on our own behavior, on the behavior that respects life or not. We are doing it besides whatever can happen on external conditions due to the elements.
Yes. So this going down and this going up also, it is in the sutta also. So you will also read this information in the sutta. Okay. So until here, let's get Diego's question.
Diego's question, and let's see. Let's touch base. What do you think, my dear family? Isn't it amazing, the description that the good Buddha does? And I'm making similarities with our present life, which we can see some changes. I don't want to scare or anything, but yes, we need to pay an eye to it.
Yeah, but don't worry, we're not there yet.
We're not there yet, but
we're going there.
Where could we be?
We're not there yet.
Okay, Don Diegazo, please welcome.
Oh, welcome. I would like to know if there is any particular reason why incest is not already included in sexual misconduct. Why do you think it's mentioned apart?
Because I think because originally the sexual misconduct is like people goes with another's wife, or go with another's husband, or go with who unmarried oneself is married, then they go with an unmarried
person. Like adultery. It's just considered adultery on the 5 precepts.
Less serious. Then later, then people start having sexual misconduct even with one's relatives, one's father, one mother, and one sister and brother. And so this is a little bit more serious than that. So it's coming small.
It is, as we know, Diegazo, is actually higher misconduct when it is performed on the same family. Actually, even biologically, as we know, there are some implications of brothers and sisters, as it happens even in animals often, because of the genes and things. So it is the respect towards someone else is just an agreement that people have, but apparently we can check more with Seattle, but yes, it is considered a higher, like a lower point where desire and lust has gone so low that it start not even respecting, I'm sorry to give these images, but even our mother and father, so or daughters, which even now it is unfortunately a reality that grown-ups often abuse to their small ones, even in the same family. I mean, it's not something that is out, but it's generally considered
little worse.
Yeah, worse than that.
So sexual misconduct is mainly adultery. It's not all the other sexual misconduct is not included. Like rape, for example.
Depends on where you find this word. If you find it in the 5 precepts, then of course it includes everything. In the training, in the 5 training, that includes everything. But in these terms, that it is talking about how the akusala get escalated, then
lower and lower and lower.
It is separated.
Now, in sexual misconduct, Diegazo, it is stated, in case the person has a relation with someone, to respect that and respect the relations of others. And then there is also the specification that people who is minors or people that is still under the protection of somebody else. That will include all the children and people with disabilities. And also it is included that people has, if the other person being of any age, there is no consent from their side. So that means if it happens, a transgression, it will be a rape. It includes all kinds of beings. And even depending on the, for example, when we take the 5 precepts, it is just the minimum of taking care of our partner in case that the person has, the partner of others, and non-raping anybody. Then if it takes the eight precepts, then that will be avoid any kind of sexual activity to continue the mental cultivation. Avoid this agitation that sexuality brings in order to focus that energy for inner stability. Yeah. And then for monastics, it will be different, but all of them are included. It's not mentioned any kind of a relation in general terms when we take the precepts, but all kind of relations. If there is no consent from the person and it is still under the care of somebody else, that will be a transgression of sexual misconduct.
Oh, yes.
How you see until here?
Thank you. One last question, is that okay?
Yes, sure. I just wanted to add something. For a person who takes the 5 precepts, so the precept is respect, like Pante said, the relationship. Then in that case, then having relationship with your own partner, that is not included in the sexual misconduct, because it is not akusala in that sense. It could be loba, of course, it could be, then, but that is another type of akusala. No, it is not sexual misconduct. So it is different.
Also, there is some mention about the biological logic. So that includes the having sexual intercourse with persons of the same sex and animals. Even you will be surprised in the scriptures, especially for monastics, when you read the Vinaya, the level of detail that the Buddha went for as to say what was a transgression of sexual misconduct. I mean, animals are mentioned. Oneself, the kind of activity that, I mean, that's not a transgression that is like one of the big ones, but the logic, biological construction that we have towards generally the body. I know there is a big controversy about it, but generally the bodies of a female and a male in any kind of a species is much more ready for having sexual intercourse, just simply because of the construction we have and the lubricants that the body naturally has. So there are some mentions onto what kind of sexual behavior it's in line of the logic of biology or what the body is constructed. Then later on is spoken about this was also one question that recently Cass brought up, and we can, I mean, it's a very controversial, especially at this time, this topic, but there are the Buddha described 4 kind of sexual, how to, different kind of behavior. We have mentioned, it's called Pandaka, and inside them, there is the topic another day. We open this box in another day. Anyway, yes, we will see this cast. There is some information that the Buddha left, and there are some biological implications, and it talks a lot about what the mind is doing, a lot of what the mind is doing, because it's based on likings. Finally, it goes down to it. But the body, we cannot deny that it's designed naturally in order not to be hurt in any way. It is naturally designed generally for sexual intercourse between a male and female, not just in the human species, in all the species. We open better this box. It's very controversial, I think, but fortunately the Buddha gave a lot of information and described the 4 kinds of pandakas, which is people with specific sexual habits or something like this. Anyway, we go forward.
Diego have another question.
Yes, don Diego.
Thank you. My next question is regarding the duration of this chart from 100,000 years to 10 years. Any idea if it's 1 kappa or how long does it take?
We are going there, don't take us. Every single detail, get your pen and pencil and a notebook around everything, or take photos. Everything the Buddha specified very clearly how long it takes. Everybody okay? So with the we had about the decreasing of morality? Does it has logic, my dear family? Logical. Ezequiel has a question. Yes.
So how do you reconcile the fact that if we are in the midst of this phase of moral decadence, right? We're going down the tube, we're in the downhill slope, right? How would you reconcile that with the empirical fact that actual life expectancy is growing up, not going down? So they seem to be in opposite directions, right? Morally, we're going south, we're going down, but you will live a longer life. So those are the two questions.
First, because you see, we are talking, again, we have to remind ourselves, we are talking about the enormously long period of time, really, really long period of time. So the fluctuation we see going up and down, like from the 75 years, maybe we're going a little bit like 80 or something. It is like a tiny, tiny fluctuation. But if we see according to long line, we're
talking about very long lifespan.
Yes. So for example, according to the scriptures, the average lifespan 2,600 years ago, during the time of the Buddha, it was 100 years. It was 100 years was their average lifespan. So if you see, like in terms of thousands of years, we are going down. But maybe because of medical advance, are going up a little bit, down a little bit, and
like as we've seen in the 40s and 30s of the previous century,
war, then it can drop
and it's going. But in general, the more, actually, if we included, there is one thing, Ezequiel, also, we are generally, when science make these calculations, it is mainly based on the people that is alive, actually, and the advances of medicine. If we put into account, for example, the amount of deaths that in Latin America we are having because of moral misconduct, actually, if we increase that factor into the lifespan of beings, I mean, I'm sure the number will start changing drastically if we include all the asesinatos, how you call murders, and things that it's actually taking people's lives quite young. Many of the people that is dealing with drugs and staying on these gangs and things, actually many of them are teenagers. So I don't know if that variable is included into the lifespan in general, but apparently if we look at the morality, there is no doubt, and as you clearly says, I mean, we can see that we are going south onto morality. That's a no-brainer. The promiscuity is increasing. The lack of generosity is not so prevalent, and then the protection of one's property and the killing, I mean, definitely is it's something that be a little bit okay. So that's according to that, okay, the fluctuations. Doña Marifer, please.
Thank you. There's two things. The first one is, so this lifespan fluctuation can happen several times in one world cycle, right?
Okay. It does happen. Now we're going to see the details, yes. Okay, my dear, so let's continue. Now we're seeing the span of time of this sube y baja of existence, up and down of human movement.
From the long lifespan, it will come all the way down. As morality goes down, will come to 10 years, and then people will start realizing that is not good, and then they will start doing good again, and throughout long time, then it will come up again. And after that, then it will go down again, and it will come up again, and it will go down again. And in this way, from one cycle of one going up and one going down, what is called one antra kappa.
This is the antra kappa. You remember we introduced it.
So now we will come to answer Diego's question of how long is it. So just let's remember that one going up and one going down is called one antra kappa. Okay, so throughout the time, it will go up and down and up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down like that for 64 times. So 64 antara kappa is equal to 1 asankhya kappa.
Yes.
64 times.
64 up and down of humanity in a world cycle with no morality and darkness, and then going back again, and the lifespan going to thousands to tens. That's what it will take. We are only in one of them. Yes. Who knows where? Maybe on the down. A teacher says that we are already on the down. We are already on the going down, and then we'll come up just to go 64 times to become an Asankeya Kappa. To an incalculable. So you can start getting a sense of what time units we are dealing with in cosmology.
Yes. And so actually in this graphic it's less than 64 times because it doesn't fit anymore. Otherwise in the graphic you will see only last straight lines.
Yes. So she tried.
So imagine only just go up and down. That's 64 times. And in the last time when it comes down, then it will not go up anymymore, and that will be the destruction, the disintegrating period. When it finished the 64, so one Asankeya Kappa is finished, then it goes into another Asankeya Kappa, then that will be finished, and it will pass through the 3 stages of another 3 Asankeya Kappa, and again it will evolve again. And then it will again come up, come down, come up, come down like that, 64 times.
So in short, it's like speaking about days, hours, minutes, and seconds in the size of the cosmos. We are just this Antra Kappa and Maha Kappas and all this is just that time frame.
Fernando and Alejandro has a question. Yes, Fernando?
Okay.
In how many years is an Antara Kappa?
Antara Kappa is 1 Maha Kappa divided by 4. So it's 930, more than 936 quintillion divided by 4.
Get your calculators, my dear.
Okay.
936 quintillion.
900.
930 something quintillion human years divided by 4.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
34
quintillion human Earth years. Remember, my dear family, that this is just side information for us. How can we translate this onto direct practice for the cultivation of kusala and the avoidance of akusala? Let's keep that on mind.
Today we're also going to see, to answer the questions of Fernando from last week of how frequent does the Buddha arise. No? So the Buddha actually, he did not especially take this theme and explore about, let's talk about the universe. He never said something like that. So it's always true when he's explaining about something.
Some information came.
So therefore, all this information is because he was teaching something, and he was giving the message of how long this samsara can be, and how rare is to be a human, and how rare it is to be exist in a time where the Buddha's teachings exist,
and how to apply ourselves to become Samvega. The only intention of the Buddha speaking about this material was to arise spiritual urgency. Wow, this is something serious. I need to do something. That's why he did so. And my dear family, you can see on the scriptures that many times when people arrive with this kind of questions of the topic we're dealing right now, in many occasions the Buddha kept silent or directly rejected the question because said, this will not make you a better human being. You need to work on what is important. So we are opening now the topic, and it's fine, and I also like it, but let's just keep the focus. Are you ready? We continue.
So let's continue from the Asankeya Kappa. 64 Antara Kappa is equal to Asankeya Kappas, 1 Asankeya Kappa. Now let's see. Now, so we have seen different names of Kappa. Ayu Kappa, the lifespan of the present lifespan of human. Then Antara Kappa means 1 up and 1 down. And 64 of this Antara Kappa is 1 Asankeya Kappa, translated as incalculable world cycle. And 4 of the Asankeya Kappas, the 4 stages, is called 1 Mahakappa.
Wow, this is very nice. This is good graphic.
Okay, so now let's continue and see a little bit more. Now we talked about Asankeya Kappas, no? So from the time that we have heard this story many times.
There was another Buddha, not the Buddha we have now. The previous Buddha somewhere in the back.
during the time of Dipankara Buddha, it is, as Bante said, previous Buddha, Sumedha, this person that you see here is Sumedha.
Lying
this is
down.
Actually, this person is going to be the future Gautama the Buddha. So many times we have said that since Sumedha met Dipankara Buddha, and Dipankara Buddha gave him the prediction of, because he wished to become a Buddha himself. So he said that after 4 Asankhya and 100,000 Kappas, you will become a Buddha with the name Gautama, Siddhartha Gautama. So during that time, we know that this Sumedha, at that time he was an ascetic, and then he has been practicing. He has jhana power, and actually in that very lifetime he had the possibility of becoming an arahant already. But because of his great compassion and his capability, and he knows that he is a capable person, and for the well-being of others, he admired the Dipankara Buddha, and he said, I also wish to become a Buddha in the future. So
he becomes a bodhisattva.
Yes.
A bodhisattva. At that moment, he said, I want to become a Buddha, and I will work all this time. I know what it takes on, and I want to become one for the benefit of all beings. In our case, we are some of these beings being benefited by his sacrifice.
Teachings, no? So during the time when he met Dipankara Buddha, and Dipankara Buddha knew his wish and said, yes, you will accomplish your wish in 4 Asankhya and 100,000 Kappas of time, then you will become the next Buddha. So through all these 4 Asankhya, 100,000 Kappa, he has to practice to fulfill his paramis. Now, the
perfections, the 10 perfections, as we have said before,
yes.
Wisdom, generosity, detachment, etc.
Yes. Now, what I want to say is that the word Asankhya here is the sometimes confusion can arise. Now, we say 4 Asankhya and 100,000 Kappas he need to practice. And these 4 Asankhya, usually we say Asankhya, 4 Asankhya is 1 Mahakappa, no? But what it's meant by these 4 Asankhya here is not one world cycle. Is not what one world cycle, because it doesn't make sense. Like one world cycle, there is no beings there. Like, so he has to practice in the Brahmaryam, and in one world cycle, he becomes a Buddha, not like that. So according to the word Asankhya, the Asankhya word actually is translated as incalculable. Yes, so this Asankhya is different from the other Asankhya we just saw. This, according, our teachers explained that according to ancient Indian numbers,
numerology or,
numbers,
or accounting,
numbers, Asankhya usually means the number 10 to the power of 140. That means 1 and 140 zeros. Yes, 1 and 140 zeros. After the 1 means Asankhya, and this Asankhya is actually this number here. So these 4 Asankhya and 100,000 Kappa that the Buddha need to accumulate his perfections. This incalculable means 10 with 100 with 140 zeros, and this Kappa is Mahakappa. So in a calculation, that means it is 4 times 1 and 140 zeros plus 100,000 Mahakappas is the time that he needs to practice.
A long time.
So just that we don't get confused about this Asankhya and the Asankhya, because Asankhya just means incalculable. So it is different. So the time that the Buddha needs to practice. Now, from the time that he got his wish confirmed by Dipankara Buddha, until that time, that is 4 Asankhya and 100,000 Kappa. And during the time of the Dipankara Buddha, in that Mahakappa, actually 4 Buddha arose during that Kappa. So this is coming to the question of Fernando, because there are Mahakappas where there are 4 Buddhas, where there are no Buddhas at all, where there are 1 Buddha, 2 Buddha, 3 Buddha, 4 Buddha, and maximum 5 Buddha is possible. So in that time, during the time of Dipankara Buddha, there were 4 Buddhas, and Dipankara Buddha were the last Buddha of this Mahakappa.
So while Siddhartha Gautama, the one we know, was training, all this happened in between. So he continued training, and learning. That's why his wisdom grows so much, life after life after life, doing what we are trying to do right now without information, by himself, contemplating and cultivating wisdom. That's why his wisdom is not a gift from somebody. It was just what he cultivated for a very, very, very long time, all these paramis and understanding.
Yeah, so it's coming now, some more numbers of what happened throughout all this time, and also it will. I will first show you like what about the different kinds of kappas according to how many Buddhas arise in the kappa. So just information, just listen, and no need to remember or anything or worry about this. Just information.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the time, the Dipankara Buddha and that specific Mahakappa, 4 Buddhas arise, and this type of kappa is called in Pali Saramanda kappa. But just don't worry, just for your information, it's called Saramanda kappa, meaning like the best of the best, something like that, a kappa. Then there are kappas which are called Sunya kappa. Sunya meaning emptiness. You have heard this term a lot of times. So Sunya kappa meaning those kappa that has no Buddha at all.
Yep.
No Buddha arise throughout all these 64 Antara kappas. No
so
Buddha.
64 up and down, no Buddha.
No Buddhas. And then in those times, it's called Sunya kappa, which actually is the most common types of kappa. Most of the time it is like that. So it is very rare that a kappa that arise
that a Buddha is arise.
So when there is a kappa that one Buddha arise, that's called a Sara kappa, like Sara meaning like essence. There are kappas that 2 Buddha arise, in Pali called Manda kappa. Then sometimes 3 Buddhas will arise in one Mahakappa, then Vara kappa. And then 4 Saramanda kappa, we just saw, like the one of Dipankara Buddha. And the maximum 5 Buddha can arise in one Mahakappa. It's called Bhada kappa. Bhada means fortune or auspicious. So it's like a very auspicious,
very lucky to have 5 Buddhas in one world cycle.
So 60 throughout the 64 Antara kappa.
Now, to bring things home, my dear family, do you remember that you have the ability, they have the capacity to become a Buddha if you wish and practice? We all can become a Buddha. We're not talking about something out there. If we are willing to cultivate ourselves for such a long period and purify Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, we have that potentiality to become a Buddha. So it's not far from home. He was a human, same as any of us. That's why he's revered by so many for the effort he put on to purifying the mind, understanding how the universe works, and explaining it to others for the liberation of suffering. That's how samsara, the intricacies of it.
Yeah, we'll come back to this theme. And so very, very fortunately, the kappa, this Mahakappa that we are living right now, is a Bhada kappa.
5 Buddhas in this world system.
Yes, so our Buddha, the Gautama the Buddha, is actually the 4th Buddha of this world system. And so one more is to come.
So have you heard about Maitreya and all this? Yes, it's the next one in line that is waiting to come. So it is, while this Buddha, the Buddhas know when is the right time to come, because you don't need 2 Buddhas at the same time. If we already have the teaching, it will be kind of a waste. So they wait until the darkness moment, and then it's ready. Humanity is ready mentally, in mental stability and possibility to get enlightened. The Buddha appears in the earth and then delivers the teaching, makes the wheel of the Dhamma turn again. Wisdom kicks in. Many beings, another wave of enlightened beings happen, and then a long darkness, and then another wave, and waves as the ocean in a very, very big ocean. Yeah.
Yes. So although now the Buddhas, they arise if 5 Buddha is to arrive in the same world system, they never arrive in the same Antara kappa. So the coming down and to the going up in one, there at maximum there is only 1 Buddha. So within this 64, So in those ups and downs, different ups and downs, then 5 Buddha will arise.
So 5 scattered in 64 cycles.
In 64 cycles is the maximum. Sometimes 64 without any, no? And sometimes 1 or sometimes like that. So in this case, our Buddha in this present period, Gautama the Buddha, is the 4th one. So before this world cycle is going to, this Antarakapa is going to be destroyed, one more Buddha is going to come. So we are still a little bit far away until the Kappa is totally going to be destroyed. Anyway, now we will continue with a little bit more. This is a
question from Ezequiel.
Yes.
Casita, ¿cómo está? La veo de repente que respira profundo, así como que, wow, this is, ahorita no, you tell us a little bit in a while. But Ezequiel has one question. You want to finish this or?
No, yeah, we can.
Okay, Don Ezequiel, please go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, it's actually it's a very short question. So I had heard of Dipankara, he was the past Buddha, Siddhartha, and then Maitreya, but I had only heard of 3 Buddhas. But here you're explaining that in this world cycle there are actually 5 of them.
Yes,
who
all the names of the Buddha.
Here we go. All of them.
Okay.
They describe the previous one, so the Buddha gave all this information.
Okay, so the main point here is like, although in one Mahakapa, the maximum there are 5 Buddhas that can arise, they never arise in the same Antarakapa. Okay, let's go. And so through times and space, what is the frequency of the appearance of a Buddha? That was a question of Fernando last time. And this is actually, it is basically very difficult or not possible to say an exact number, because that depends exactly like what Bante said. Like if there is person who is willing to become a Buddha, who have the capability to become a Buddha, who are willing to practice all this time,
and they are beings to teach,
and whether the maturity of their paramis are ready or not. So it totally depends on the individual beings. So there is no one rule of every how many Kappa one Buddha arise. There is nothing that we can say definitely, because totally depend on the individual. Now, but by studying the history of the past Buddhas, so since the time of Dipankara Buddha until now Buddha, how many Buddhas has arisen, how many Kappa has passed,
we can make an estimate.
Then we can more or less have an idea of in how long time a Buddha arises. So let's go. Now, from the time of Dipankara Buddha to our Buddha, that is 4 Asankhya and 100,000 Kappas. No, in numbers, it's 4 times 1 and 140 zeros plus 100,000 Mahakappas. Yes. So throughout all this time, there were totally 28 Buddhas that arose during the Mahakappa of Dipankara Buddha until our present time. Now, there is a small list here that I will answer Ezequiel's question. So let's divide the period into 2. First 4 Asankhya, and then the 100,000 Kappas. No? So throughout the 4 Asankhya, only 12 Buddha arose. So in 4 times 1 and 140 Mahakappas, only 12 Buddha arose. In the time during the Dipankara Buddha, 4 Buddha arose, and their names were Tangha Kara Buddha, Medan Kara Buddha, and then we have,
Sankarankara,
yes,
Saranakara,
Buddha,
and Dipankara Buddha, which is the cycle we are now in. Then
no. The cycle we are in, not this is a cycle of the Dipankara Buddha, Dipankara Buddha, of when Sumedha met Dipankara Buddha and he started become a Bodhisattva in that time. Then after that, it passed the 1 and 15 Sunya Kappa. So that means 1 and 15 of Mahakappas, there were no Buddha at all.
You remember the emptiness cycles. No Buddha.
Yeah, no Buddha. So there were humans, and so that passed 64 times the ups and downs of human, 1 and 15 Mahakappas, no? That long time, no Buddha at all. Then after that, one Buddha arose in one Mahakappa called Kondanya Buddha. Then again, many asankhya, then in the scriptures that is not exact numbers, and many asankhya of Sunya Kappa, no Buddha at all. Then later, in one Mahakappa, very fortunate, 4 Buddha arose, Mangala Buddha, Sumana Buddha, Revata Buddha, and Sovita Buddha arose in one Mahakappa. Then again, many Sunya Kappas have passed. Then 3 Buddha arose, Anoma Dasi Buddha, Paduma Buddha, and Narada Buddha arose. Then after that, and again, many Asankhya Kappa passed without any Buddha. Then the 4 Asankhya already finished. So that means throughout the 4 Asankhya, there is only 4 Kappa. Then meaning like in 1 and 140 Mahakappa, only 4 Mahakappa has Buddha.
Wow.
Yes.
Very rare occurrence.
Very rare.
Okay,
so now let's go to the 100,000 Mahakappa. The 100,000 Mahakappa is more fortunate, more beings are ready. So only in this 100,000 Kappa, 17 Buddhas arose. Then Padumutara Buddha arose after the 4 Asankhya, and then incalculable eons of Sunya Kappa, then 1 Buddha arose. Then after that, 70,000 Sunya Kappa, then 2 Buddha arose, Sumedha Buddha, Sujata Buddha, then 1,800 Sunya Kappas, no Buddha at all. Then Piyadasi Buddha, Atadasi Buddha, and Dhammadasi Buddha arose in that Mahakappa. Then again,
a long time,
then no Buddha, then 1 Buddha, Siddhartha Buddha. Then only 1 Sunya Kappa, and again, very fortunately, 2 Buddha arise, Tissa Buddha and Pussa Buddha arise. Then the next Kappa, again, Buddha arose. That was very fortunate and quite rare. Then Vipassi Buddha arose. Then 58 Sunya Kappa, then 2 Buddhas, Sikhi Buddha and Wesabu Buddha arose. 29 Sunya Kappas, then became our era now. This Mahakappa. Then this is our Mahakappa now. So in this Mahakappa that we are living right now, Kakusanda Buddha was the first Buddha. Then Konagamana Buddha was the second. Kassapa Buddha was the one before Gautama the Buddha. Maybe you have heard about him. Then Gautama the Buddha is the present Buddha. And 1 more is going to come, that is Maitya Buddha, which has not arrived yet. He is still a bodhisattva now. Okay, so this is
in the Devas, he's in the Deva, like waiting list coming.
Yes, waiting, still accumulating his
waiting
body.
For the darkness.
And according to our teachers, the next Buddha, Maitya Buddha, he's going to arise in the Antrakappa in the time when humans live thousands of years.
So have more opportunity to practice.
During that time, our teacher said. Okay, so anyway, to make the numbers easy to understand,
a lot of time
throughout this 4 Asankhya 100,000 Kappa, there was only 12 Kappas where Buddha arose. So 1 and 140 zeros of Mahakappas. Among all those Kappas, only 12 Kappas there was Buddha. And so here now we see the rarity of the Buddha to arise in this world, and the great opportunity to be born in one world where the teaching exists. So now we know more or less than the numbers, and also there is another, and that is about time, no? So about space, the scripture says that in 10,000 world system, so a world system like ours, imagine the extension of 10,000 world system happening together like Bante said, simultaneously 10,000 in different stages happening. Throughout 10,000 world system, there can only be 1 Buddha at a time. So not meaning that in our system, in our world cycle, there is this Buddha, or in another world cycle, maybe another Buddha, another Buddha, not like that. So in the time when a Buddha arose, in 10,000 world cycles, he will be the unique one.
That's why, and remember, my dear family, that the Buddha could move among because has jhanas, could move among all the realms and spaces. And if you remember, in the daily schedule of the Buddha, when the scriptures mention how was his day, he used to sleep from 2 hours to 3 hours only per day. So he will wake up early in the morning. The first thing he will do will practice walking meditation and anapana. Although he was a Buddha already, he continued practicing because that was, as the Metta Sutta says, the greatest, abiding. The best abiding that the mind can have. So first he walked for himself, then practice metta, and then he spent some meditation, checking which beings around him were ready to be enlightened, so he knew where he was going to walk that day and to encounter who to tell him the last drop that was going to make that being enlightened. That was the next activity. Later on, the morning comes, the monk starts waking up. He was already practiced for some hours. Then they go to the alms round, and then he starts teaching the whole day to the monks. After the lunch, they will take he will give a Dhamma talk, and then he will be receiving in the evening the lay people. But then at 9 or 10 or 11, when all the monks go to bed and when the people return to their homes, the Buddha's day did not finish yet. So in the second part or the third part of the night was the time for the Buddha to start teaching all these places, all these realms and the devas. So in the night, many of the sermons that we have recorded in the scriptures were actually given, as you can read in many of them, to devas. The devas came generally in the night because all the village, all the people was sleeping and the monks were sleeping, and the Buddha, it is famous to know that in the night he was talking to apparently to nobody, but the whole beings were coming to make questions to him, and he helped many beings in many of these space, as Charana is just mentioning, this world system horizontally, and in terms of the different 31 realms, he tirelessly for 45 years taught and helped many beings. And the scripture says that actually the Buddha helped more devas and brahmas to get enlightened than human beings. And there were already many human beings, fortunately, and we still have the potentiality and the teaching to arrive to such. But much more, the most benefited were beings with more stable mind. Of course, their mind was more ready for it. So that's how far it goes. Yes. And where the Buddha says, because when he mentions this thing, he was saying, I was there teaching last night. I mean, I saw these things and they're here, they exist. And to make it close, you want to know a little story? Very quick. It is known in Thailand, this story always have touched me. It is known in Thailand that one time one great master got sick and he was sent to the hospital. So he was very sick, or almost dying, but in the night the nurses start recognizes that when all the hospital was quiet, they heard this monk speaking very softly in the night. And then they thought that the monk, because of his age, this master was already hallucinating or having something. And then the nurses start getting very curious what the master was doing. They come close to the side of the window of his room and they recognize that he was actually teaching in the night. Later on, it became like something is this teacher doing special in the night? Well, apparently he never said. When he was asked, he just kept silent and said that the world was kind of big, the universe is big. So apparently, not just the Buddha, but if it is very developed, and especially if he has jhana, apparently this teacher in the night as well was answering questions to other kinds of beings that were not present physically in the hospital. So this is very close. This happened a few decades ago. We are not far from that. Eventually, the master never came out of the hospital. He indeed died with a mind that was very, very clear. And it's a story that everybody knows, that he was actually in the night having contact and sharing the Dhamma. Imagine how precious for it to be to come to the earth to come and get new instructions and information. Well, that is.
So the main point here is that it is really extremely rare, like throughout all these Mahakappas, so endless zeros. Only 12 kappas exist a Buddha, and then we are fortunate enough to born in Mahakappa, and this era that still the teaching is available. And now we will have a better idea when we read in the sutta. This actually comes from the Brahmajala Sutta, and we will end with this. The Buddha said, Apamadena bhikkhave sampadeta. All monks or practitioners strive on diligently. Budupado dulabolo kasmin. Rare is the arising of the Buddha in the world. Now we know what he means. Manusa bhavo dulabo. Rare is to be a human being. Dulaba sada sampatti. Rare is the attainment of faith or confidence. Pavajita bhavo dulabo. Sadhamma savanam dulabam. Rare is to be a renounced. Rare is the listening to the true Dhamma. Evam diwase oadi. Thus every day did the Blessed One admonish.
Every day the Buddha told this to his monks. Practice diligently. It is rare for a Buddha to arise. It is rare to become a human being. It is rare to have faith and dedicate for the practice. It is rare to become a person who wishes to do so, to renounce in some degree the world and listening to the true Dhamma, because there are also misinformation around. And in the same way, every day the Buddha mentioned this stanza, everything. So very beautiful. If you wish to write it, memorize it. It's very nice to keep the scope in this universe. And that's it for today.
Yeah, and so we finished with the Buddha's words and closing of now we understand what he meant by it is rare.
By rare. How big was the rare that he was talking about? My dear family, it's a pleasure. Tanto tiempo, tantos mundos, tanto espacio y coincidir, it's something. So thank you so much for applying ourselves honestly and beside it with interest, curiosity, and love to explore nature. May we make best use of all this information for our own benefit, for the benefit of our father, for the benefit of our mother, wherever they are, if they're not present, our grandparents, our family, friends, co-workers, teachers, and all beings. May we make the best decisions. Thank you so much, Charana, for everything.
Much. Thank you, Diego, for asking for
this
topic.
Yes, and Fer, today, thank you for your questions. You are guiding. There is many information, and we will continue researching. These sessions are helping us learn more details and fortify the information we listened before, maybe briefly. So thank you so much, my dear family. Stay well. We see you next weekend, and take care, and we continue in this adventure.
Yes, probably next week we will start with the cost of death. Cost of death.
Cost of death. Yeah, you remember we have.
What is how is a person considered? I mean, why does a person die?
Yeah, why do we die? That's the. In case we needed some topic, we will continue with it. Best wishes, blessings for all the family. And let me close with the blessing that our teachers do, which I feel very inspired by it. And especially in these times of difficulties, may all the families in our communities, in our country, and all the world find peace in the midst of all this movement. Sabitiyo biwajantu sokoro gowinya satu mate bawat wantarayo suki dikayuko bawang abiwadana silisa nichamuta pachayino Chataru dhamma vadanti ayuvano sukhambalam bhavatu sabha mangalam rakantu sabha devata sabha buddhanu dhammanu sanghanu bhavena sabha sukhi bhavantu te sadhu sadhu sadhu. Que todas las bendiciones nos acompañen a todos y a toda nuestra familia. Que estén muy bien, queridos.
Have a very good night. Very nice to see you all, and we continue our
Very
exploration
nice.
next week.
I love you, my dear family. Stay well. We see you
Thank you very
soon.
much, Elena.
Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias, Fante. Muchas gracias.
Bye, bye. Buenas noches, queridos. Suerte. Seguimos adelante. La aventura continúa.